Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So Hasbro have posted that Jonathan Entwistle signs on to Hasbro's Power Rangers for E1. This was news that broke a couple of days ago, and having looked into what this guy has done, it certainly makes me quite nervous, and it certainly doesn't elude my fears that Hasbro actually don't care about this brand whatsoever. They've given a relative nobody control of this brand, and I think that this is going to be a big problem when we look into exactly what this guy's body of work has been and how that is going to be a problem, in my opinion, for Power Rangers going forward. I think they've taken a very big misstep with this one. Further driving forward E1's strategy to produce wide appeal film and television content from Hasbro's rich library of world-class IP. The same world-class IP that they refused to get Peter Cullen and Frank Welker to voice Optimus Prime and Megatron for the Netflix series. That is a flagship brand. The same company that has radically altered how Snake Eyes looks for the Solo movie. This is a company that I would be keeping a very close eye on in terms of what they are going to do in the future. Entertainment One E1, Hasbro's entertainment studio, announced today that producer and director Jonathan Entwistle has come on board to shepherd new film and television adaptations of Power Rangers. E1 will develop and produce the projects, with Entwistle set to direct across both formats. Jonathan has an incredible creative vision for this iconic and hugely successful franchise, and is hands down the right architect to join us as we reimagine the television and film worlds of this property, said Nick Meyer, President Film E1, and Michael Lombardo, President Global Television E1, across our slate. We are looking forward to working with the most talented storytellers as we take on Hasbro's rich fan favourite brands and build entertainment universes around them. Now, this is a guy that has cancellations behind him and only two really kind of notable shows that I don't think an awful lot of people really watch, given the fact that they have been cancelled. They also dabble in some very weird and sadistic stuff, so I'm not quite sure that this is the right choice for Power Rangers. I know for a lot of people Power Rangers is supposed to be a light sort of brand for them. It's not supposed to go heavy and dark. We did see a more gritty version of it the last couple of years in the Power Rangers movie that starred Bryan Cranston, Dacre Montgomery as Jason, for example, and that wasn't really a financial success. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that an awful lot of people that are interested in the brand want to see lighter stuff. They don't want to see darker stuff developed, or they're not interested in watching it. Personally, I will say that the fan-made film that was R-rated didn't really interest me whatsoever. I didn't like it whatsoever, and I know that former Ranger actors as well too were certainly put off by that interpretation of the Power Rangers. This is an unbelievable opportunity to deliver new Power Rangers to both new and existing generations of awaiting and adoring fans. We'll bring the spirit of analog into the future, harnessing the action and storytelling that made this brand a success. I'm looking forward to working with the teams at E1 and Hasbro. Together we can't wait to share more Power Rangers with the world very soon. Entwistle most recently co-created the Netflix original series I Am Not Okay With This, and created Netflix original series The End of the Effing World. He is a graduate of the prestigious Chelsea School of Art in London and is represented by CAA 42, Grandview, and Jackaway, Austin, Tyreman, Werthmeyer, Mandelbaum, Morris, Bernstein, Tratner, and Klein. Wow, what a mouthful. Power Rangers is an American entertainment and merchandising franchise built around a live-action superhero television series based on the Japanese tokusatsu franchise Super Sentai. The first Power Rangers entry, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, debuted in 1993. In 2018, Hasbro acquired the Power Rangers franchise from Saban Brands, releasing their first products in early 2019. In addition to the new non-kids projects under Entwistle, Power Rangers-inspired kids series Beast Morphers is currently airing. Hasbro's film properties include Dungeons and Dragons, as well as Transformers and G.I. Joe film franchises. This is trouble, and I'm going to go into why I think that this is trouble. So as we can see here, he's a British producer and director. He's a co-creator, director, writer, and an executive producer of I Am Not Okay With This. Jonathan is the creator of the Netflix original series. We've talked about that already. And that's about it. He shoots commercials through Stink for clients such as British Airways, Netflix, Nike, and PayPal. Originally from Manchester, England, he now lives and works in Los Angeles. That's all this guy is known for. 2 shows. Now, I'm not saying that somebody that doesn't have much of a pedigree behind them shouldn't get a chance, but I'm saying the manner of show that he does, that I'm going to look at right now in a few moments, certainly makes me very suspect and skeptical of this hiring personally. I also think that with Power Rangers being a brand that it is, and in my opinion, it still has an awful lot of fans attached to it, you don't need this brand to begin to wane, particularly when Hasbro have only purchased it and for the last couple of years seemed like they don't really know what to do with it. Now, this is the same company that did have a prominent YouTuber support BLM publicly on a live stream in front of children. So it could be a direction that this company is willing to go, considering they let Christina Hodson tank the Bumblebee movie with some of the self-inserts that were in that movie. So again, like I'm saying, you're going to have to keep a close eye on these people, because these people start to pop their heads up from below the sand very easily, and it's very easy to see what they do. So I'm not okay with this. It is an American coming-of-age comedy drama streaming television series based on the comic book of the same name by Charles Forsman. It was released on Netflix on February 26, 2020. The series received positive reviews with praise for the performances, particularly from Lillis and Olive. In August of 2020, the series was cancelled after one season due to circumstances related to the bear bug pandemic. Now, for people who aren't in the know, they get cancelled really because the viewership isn't there. That's really it. It's not to do with anything like that. It's really to do with viewership not being there. They will try to blame stuff like this, but I'm not buying it really, potentially, really, to be honest with you. So we have our main character, Sophia Lillis, as Sydney Novak, a 17-year-old girl who starts realising she has telekinetic powers, while Olaf as Stanley Stan Barber, Sydney's neighbour and friend. Sophia Bryant as Dina, Sydney's best friend on whom Sydney has a crush. Kathleen Rose Perkins as Maggie Novak, Sydney's widowed mother. So widowed mother, important thing that we're going to have to look at here, because this is going to go into the frame of bad dad territory. So I just want you to keep an eye on that. Over the last couple of years, Hollywood have seemed absolutely fixated with showing bad dads. So dads that are either not around, that are just generally poor fathers, or are just not in the picture whatsoever, or are killed in the meantime. So this is what we're starting to see with Hollywood. We don't see a upstanding role model of a father like we did in the Power Rangers reboot there a couple of years ago, where we had a father figure for Jason that was very strict on him but very supportive of him. I don't think we're going to see this with these characters personally. So we have here Sydney Novak is a 17-year-old living with her mother and younger brother a year after the death of her father. Okay, so we already have a bad dad circumstance right here. Sydney is frustrated that they never talk about their father's self-deletion and constantly argues with her mother. So straight away here, first episode, boom, we have a bad dad. Now, obviously, I'm going to say that I feel very sorry for, and I do say to people out there, if you are feeling down, please speak to somebody. Please do something about it. Please call somebody. But this is the narrative that Hollywood are trying to shift into over the last number of years. And in my opinion, it's certainly a very negative one. Why not give her a supporting father? Why, if it's going to take liberties from the comics, why have you decided now to do that? And this show actually did take liberties from the comics as well too, just to remind you as well. But this is a series as well. It's very odd. It's dabbling in certain aspects that have put Netflix into trouble in recent months, if you know what I'm saying. So I would certainly be very, very skeptical of some of the stuff that's going on here. So they did decide to say, yeah, blame it on the owl bear bug, that things have happened and haven't panned out. So this starts to talk about a lot of young people engaging in certain things as well too. So I'm never really comfortable with that sort of stuff, because I think if you're going to make something like that, I mean, make the characters a lot older rather than deciding to try and dabble with them and being children. It's not great. So here's another one here by Jonathan Entwistle, and it's The End of the Effing World. The End of the Effing World is a British dark comedy drama television program. So it's good to see that this guy has a big range, doesn't he? The 8-part 4 series premiered its 4th season on Channel 4 in the United Kingdom on 24th of October 2017, after which the following episodes were released on all 4. Netflix handled international distribution and released it internationally on 5th of January 2018. It's quite curious how they're working with this guy, isn't it? The program follows James Alex Lauder, a 17-year-old who believes himself to be a psychopath. You see what I'm saying? They're starting to paint pictures here. And Alyssa, an angry classmate who sees in James a chance to escape from her tumultuous home life. You see what I'm saying? This guy's got no range. Gemma Whelan, Wunmi Mosaku, Steve Oram, Christine Bottomley, Navin Chowdhury, Barry Ward and Naomi Aki appear in supporting roles. The same Naomi Aki that they made a big deal about being in Rise of Skywalker and blip, nothing done about that one. The series is based on Forsman's mini-comics The End of the Effing World, which were collected into a book in 2013. So again, this guy hasn't really got an original thought in his mind that's coming from comic book series. Series creator Jonathan Entwistle contacted him about making a film, and a short was made in 2014. As an aside, what I'm just going to say is, if Jonathan Entwistle decided to develop the Draken series from Boom Studios, I might be on board with that one, maybe. If Boom Studios were to be involved with that one, I could look into that. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to dabble in the past. He's going to certainly try to destroy certain characters. I can foresee him maybe if he brings Tommy in, a new Tommy, bad dad situation there, and that's why Tommy behaves the way he does. I wouldn't be shocked now, I really wouldn't. Instead, an 8-part serial was commissioned, with filming beginning in April 2017. It was written by Charlie Covell, and episodes were directed by Entwistle and Lucy Cherniak. And these are two shows that I have heard nothing about, so that's not great stuff really in my opinion. In August 2018, the program was renewed for a second series, which premiered on Channel 4 on 4th of November 2019, after which all 8 episodes were released on all 4 and internationally on Netflix the next day. Covell stated before the second series release that she does not intend to produce a third series for the program, so boom, gone again. This is another thing now that's finished. The program has been praised for its writing, execution and subject matter. Very important point there, subject matter, because the subject matter in these things are very dodgy in my opinion, as well as for Lauder's and Barden's performances. Both series were nominated for British Academy Television Award for Best Drama Series, means nothing, with the second series winning in 2020, as well as receiving a Peabody Award in 2019. So what's the premise? The premise is James is a 17-year-old who believes he is a psychopath. He kills... I mean, why would you even develop something like that? But grows bored of the practice. He decides he wants to try killing... He settles on Alyssa, a mouthy, rebellious 17-year-old classmate with issues of her own. She proposes they run away together, hoping for an adventure away from her turbulent home life. So let's get this into check here now. She wants to run away with this guy that is up to that sort of mischief, and her home life is that bad she wants to go away with it. You see what I'm saying? And James agrees with the intention of finding an opportunity to delete her. They embark on a road trip across England and begin to develop a relationship after a series of mishaps. I mean, romanticising a type of individual like that is nuts, is it not? Is that just me? But that is absolutely crazy stuff. James, a 17-year-old who believes he is a psychopath, the disturbed love interest of Alyssa. Jack Field portrays a young James. That's your synopsis of the character. As Alyssa, a rebellious teenage girl, initially James is his intended victim, but later his love interest. Holly Beachy portrays a young Alyssa. I mean, what? Oh, and here we go. We have Phil, James's caring father. Okay, we have a caring father, but yet the boy is still very disturbed, is he not? So the father has clearly not done a very good job, nor is he caring. So that's a very misleading description, in my opinion. Navin Chowdhury as Tony, Alyssa's abusive stepfather. So there we go, bad dad. So that's 2 programs that Jonathan has been involved in with a bad dad, or a type of bad dad. Barry Ward as Leslie Foley, Alyssa's estranged substance dealing father. Wow, another bad dad. So you've got 2 bad dads in one show, and then you've a subsequent bad dad in another one. Not only that, but you have a bad dad in a guy that's being saying that he's caring, but yet is raised an absolute lunatic. So that's where we're at. That is where Power Rangers is at. And when you look at some of the stuff that is said along here, James is a 17-year-old who believes he's a psychopath. I mean, this, if you just have a look at some of the stuff here, for example, it's graphic stuff. It is certainly aggressive stuff. It's certainly abusive stuff, and I'd be very worried about the direction that this guy is going to be taking Power Rangers down. You know, Power Rangers is known as a light-hearted, everybody can enjoy, fun. It's obviously going to be something that some people consider campy. They've considered it campy in the past when it went a little bit gritty. People didn't like it. When it went very gritty, an awful lot of people didn't like it. There were people, of course, there that were fans of that. But this certainly raises eyebrows, in my opinion. And for anybody that wants to have a look through the Wikipedia on this, and certainly give yourself a little bit more information on the type of individual now that is actually in control of Power Rangers. Now, they have said that this guy is going to be in control. He's going to essentially be a Kevin Feige type of individual, that he's going to be in charge of movies, TV shows, and what seems to be animated. I think we are going to be getting animated for the next couple of years anyway, with the current situation that's going on and the way that they're trying to play it. So this is the guy that's going to be leading the brand. I will be honest with you, I am deeply, deeply worried about the brand. I think that this guy, with the litany of work that he has behind him, the cancellations that are there, the material that's there, especially the engagement of youth in that material, is certainly very worrying. Now, we know an awful lot of people say, oh, you're just being, you're being a little bit overbearing, a little bit overprotective. No, he's writing about young individuals engaging in things that are very inappropriate. He's also writing casually about things that are just nonchalantly taken now in this day and age. It's not right, in my opinion. I would have liked to see Power Rangers maybe give someone a chance at the brand that actually knows what they're doing. Maybe somebody that would have good work relations in terms of having a good track record behind them. Maybe shows that weren't cancelled. Maybe shows that there wasn't two excuses made about as to why they won't be developing anymore. So that would be the type of individual that I would want to head a brand here that is just been purchased by Hasbro, rather than, in my opinion, leaving it out now and it's very much so exposed. This is like going into the Sahara Desert with no sun cream on and with no other provisions. You are getting a guy who absolutely has no idea, I would imagine, about Power Rangers whatsoever to now lead it. You're getting a guy as well too that hasn't been too successful in the two adventures that he's had now previously. Like I said, I'm all about giving people a chance, and if they don't succeed, they don't succeed. But that is two very big failures, in my opinion, on the bounce. Not only that, but Netflix seem to be very interested in this individual, given everything that's been going on with them the last couple of months. I would certainly be very skeptical about that one. So, again, I think Power Rangers needs somebody that's in charge of the brand, that loves it, that knows what to do, that knows, to take teams, to take parts of the Power Rangers brand and obviously make it suitable, but also as well to not delve into certain issues, especially with people that are very young, in the manner that they're trying to do. They're trying to bring this type of age and thinking way down constantly, and it's certainly something that's very worrying to an individual like me, that would certainly worry about the youth and think about the youth, and so far as making sure that they aren't affected by any sort of stuff like this or get any sort of ideas from things like this. Because for me, the two shows that he's done is trying to normalise certain things where I don't really agree with that whatsoever. Well, not that I don't really agree with that, I don't agree with that whatsoever. So I think Hasbro has made a major misstep here. I would have liked to see somebody that has a good track record. I would have liked to see somebody that really gets the material. I would have liked to see somebody that maybe is even involved with Boom Studios, that was maybe going to be in the position here. I know some way that you can say, oh, well, they don't have experience with TV, but if you're going to be talking about a producer, maybe like a Kevin Feige, for example, that's been at Marvel Studios, he's been a producer for a long number of years. His name is credited to some big films. Why not have gotten somebody like that in and said, right, okay, you produce it, and get some very good minds on board? I mean, we've seen a revitalization nearly of the brand under Boom Studios. They've done wonderful stuff with Draken. They've done wonderful stuff with the Shattered Dimensions, essentially, that they've had. We've seen recently as well, Jason from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came back, Austin St. John, after a very long layoff. Wonderful stuff. But now it's going to shift into a direction now that would certainly make me question it. It would certainly make me worry about it. If they have more adult orientated stuff with adults in the role, okay, I'd be I'd be interested in that. But with his track record of the two last shows having minors essentially engaging in adult activities, I'd be concerned with where this is going to go. And I think it's going to lose an awful lot of fans. You see an awful lot of very wholesome fans, particularly on this platform and on many other platforms between Facebook, Twitter, and all of the rest of them as well too. You're seeing very wholesome individuals, and a program being that you can leave people alone for 20 minutes that they can watch it, and it's a story. There's a good moral to it, and people walk away happy, and there's nothing to corrupt, in my opinion. Trouble for the brands. I think we've seen it that the brand has been directionless. It's been leaderless in the figure aspect over the last couple of years, and now it seems like they've put something into the role that could be very, very negative for the brand overall. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. What do you think about this hiring, and what do you think about the track record of the individual that's involved? Does this make you worry now about the brand's future, or does some of this give you a little bit of a more skeptical look at the individuals that are involved with Hasbro? And if they're involved with Netflix, does that make you even more skeptical about what's going on there? Would you be interested in a show that is going to deep dive into these type of thoughts and feelings, and certainly the aggressiveness and the, I would say, worrisome behaviour that this guy seems to be writing about in 2 shows previously, and now is going to write multiple ones for Power Rangers? That would certainly worry me. What do you think of this guy as a director? Have you watched any of his work before, and would you accredit any of success to that? Does these 2 seemingly cancellations of 2 previous forms of work worry you? It certainly worry me. And what do you think of the Power Rangers brand going forward? Do you think Hasbro actually care at all, or do you think that they're just leaving it out now to venture and see what happens? Do you think Hasbro care at all about their action figures? They seem to have cared recently about the Dino Thunder White by giving him a all-new painted helmet. But ultimately, when you look at some of the brand, the way it's been run over the last couple of years, letting a certain individual onto a live stream and talk about BLM, very problematic in my opinion, and to use their own phrases against them. And then they've had to bring an individual over from Transformers to basically fix up the mess that's been going on at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection brand. It doesn't seem like it's a brand with an awful lot of a plan. It doesn't seem like it's a company with a big plan. It seems like a company that's deeply disrespectful of some of its own brands. Would you agree? Or do you think that they could salvage something from this? I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you subscribe. Until next time, it's morphin time.